So this video introduces the Caldwell pattern as a resource to help children recognize number patterns quickly and to introduce the concept of subitizing. So, I would first introduce the number patterns by displaying them around the classroom and giving children their own Caldwell board, which is this one. Each morning a focus could then be placed on one number pattern and used throughout the day when the number is mentioned. For example, if we were focusing on the pattern in number 1, when we say it's 1 o'clock, it's now time for lunch, we could hold up the number 1 pattern as a reminder, as a visual reminder for children that number 1 is this pattern, 1 star. Or we could say, please get 1 piece of paper, and again, hold up this star, this pattern. At the end of the day, this pattern could then be placed, obviously a smaller version, on their board so that they can say that they have learnt about the number 1 pattern today. Once all the patterns have had a day's focus, they could then be put together to use in a morning routine of holding up each of the numbers and asking the children to identify the number patterns as quickly as possible. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously we do this right through to 9. Now what we could do is if there's children that are obviously not being able to recognize the patterns quickly enough, we could focus more attention on that certain pattern. Or we could introduce strategies such as 3, this pattern is 2, 1 more is 3. This pattern is 3, this pattern is 4. If we cover that up, it was 3. Add 1 is 4. So we could introduce techniques that would help as a visual reminder and an audio reminder for children to recognize each of the patterns. We could also start, so once we know that children are really starting to recognize the numbers quickly, we could start from different positions to extend this. For example, we could start with the pattern 4 one morning instead of starting at 1 and working our way through to 9. So after continuing this routine every morning until all students are able to recognize the same number, is able to recognize the number pattern and say it quickly, we could then test their subitizing skills by turning the cards over. So we would turn them all over so that all they can see is just the actual pattern. So perhaps black cardboard wouldn't be the best, but you can see that the pattern there. And we could then say, you guys are so clever, let's see if you can recognize the pattern without seeing the stars or without seeing the shape. So you just see that and asking them to recognize the pattern.